connection. I think my FPS is still pretty bad. Coffee. Yes, coffee. Good morning, Boom. Ooh. How's your morning going? Yes, dismiss all. Uh-oh, I grabbed the wrong book. No one with you in offline chat? Oh no. Why? Why not? You mean midnight? Oh, right. Good evening. Good evening, Boom. Damn, I forgot what I was listening to yesterday. Upbeat jazz? Lo-fi jazz. Upbeat? I think it was fantastic. Yes, it was. Ooh. For this. How come I'm not in a category? Okay, how about now? Is it updated? I don't know. I don't. Oops. What's wrong? Okay, let me refresh it. Maybe it'll work. Yes, okay, category updated. Awesome. And dash. Good morning, Fatal Ignorance. Hey, Supreme, how are you? What did you say? Do I love you yet? I don't even know you, dude. Do you love me yet? Does it work like that? $5.69. Oh, I still have so much reading to do. It's a one-way street. Okay. Our Professors Rosen and Morse onto something. Former President George Bush announced that after stop rogue states in the terrorist country before they're able to threaten use weapons of mass destruction. Not all commentators agree with those who ban an imminency requirement or define it as broadly as Obama Justice Department did. Some scholars fear that ban a strict temporal requirement, tempting direction to go when we look at evil person's justice humor. We'll see this solution execution. Finally, some proponents of the imminency rule believe it is defensible. So there are opponents. I slept at 9 and I woke up late. I woke up at 5:30 and I think I overslept because now like my eyes feel really puffy and swollen. Good morning, Ace. Good morning, Roquist. How are you guys? I miss you guys. I'm trying to be more quiet because I'm in a different room and like right here there's like someone. No whiteboard. Yeah, I'm in a different room now. What? what was I saying? Opposers to imminency. Why do they oppose it? Because of execution in sleep, and then I'm not liking this pen. It's way too thin. I think I need something thicker. You woke up late and you had literally put on your RTU uniform so quick to get on the bus. Oh, at least you made it on the bus. Good job. Good morning, robot. How's it going? Nice sweater. Thank you. It's my new favorite sweater. It's from Uniqlo. You like the color? Thanks. Yeah, I love cream. I'm just finishing up the adult novel. Totally. You just died in game, so here you are on mod duty. 10 minutes late, no worries. Did I go to Uniqlo on Monday? No, I heard there was a sale. Yeah. Well, honestly, currently I'm really stressed out. I have no money to shop. But that's okay. I did hear they had a sale, and last time my friend went and he got like a free t-shirt. It was super cool. So proponents believe it's defensible as a response to the fundamental political concern of regulating, controlling the use of violence in society, the imminency requirement. Proponents. So there are people who oppose, and then people who oppose. Controlling use of violence in society. So how do you come out on this debate? If you would remove the imminency requirement and only require proof that deadly force is necessary, would you do it only in abuse cases, or do your reasons justify abandonment of the requirement in all self-defense cases? In regard to the imminency issue, how would normal be resolved in a jurisdiction applying model penal code? Other jurisdictions, rather than focus on the physical harm that Judy Norman is experiencing, should her acts be justified on the ground that she's defending herself against continued psychological degradation? Professor Charles Ewing has proposed that the law permit the use of deadly force to prevent serious psychological injury, defined by him as gross and enduring impairment of one's psychological function, and significantly limits the meaning and value of one's physical existence. Holy shit, that's a lot of reading. Good morning, Odyssey. How's it going? Oops. Where'd you guys go, chat? I'm here, I swear. Okay. When you have me thinking I've been talking to Discord, seriously, I open it and I'm like, wait, what? I didn't say that. And I'm like, oh wait, that's not me. My stream name should be over 5,000, not 5,000. Over 5,000. There we go. How do you like that? Oh yeah, oh my gosh, you noticed? So I didn't do anything, but I used to be blonde and it's fading. So now it's fading, it's like the blonde that I was showing. I was gonna say, do you remember? But I realized that I started streaming right after I dyed my hair. DBZ reference. Oh, is that what it is? Over 5,000? I didn't catch that. Other justifying theories. To the extent that a kidnapped victim may use deadly force to escape a situation, It is appropriate to argue that duty Norman was prevented over time from escaping. JT or obtaining testimony and therefore justified killing him on that ground. Battered woman syndrome, or intimate partner battering syndrome. Explain this in State v. Smolin. Oh, 9,000 is the reference. Morning, Snake Misa. How's it going? Had to grow the blonde hair to pass finals. We get it, right? You know it. Oh, one says 9,000, some say 5,000. So Dr. Lenore Walker, an academic and clinical psychologist, is usually credited with first describing the battered spouse syndrome, which she called the battered woman syndrome. As one who is repeatedly subjected to any forceful physical or psychological behavior by a man in order to coerce her to do what she wants to without any concern for her rights. She described 3 phases to the battering cycle. May vary in both time and intensity. Phase 1 she referred to as the tension-building phase, which might access physical, sexual, or emotional abuse occur. How is that fucking minor if someone is sexually abusing you? And the woman is not severely abused, but the batterer begins to express hostility toward her. Phase 2 exists of an acute battering accident, in which the batterer typically unleashes a barrage of verbal and physical aggression that can leave them severely shaken and injured. And 3 is a contrition stage, in which the batterer apologizes. The essence of syndrome is that the cycle repeats, and Walker asserts that the syndrome does not exist unless it has repeated at least once. Worse, perhaps, than the mere repetition is the fact that over time the cycle becomes more intense, more frequent, more violent, and often more lethal. One aspect of syndrome, learned helplessness, and the etiology aspect is described in error and admissibility of expert opinion. So through experience, so there's 3 cycles. Battered woman syndrome has 3 cycles. Syndrome, 3 phases. Rep God, hey, Robbie expert. Learned helplessness, damn, we've got psychology in here too. Yeah, it's part of a battered woman syndrome. So through experience, the victim learns that when she attempts to defend herself by reaching out to others trying to leave, that she will be the victim of more severe violence. The batterer blames the abusive relationship on her inability to respond to his ever-increasing demands, so that the most effective short-term method of reducing incidents of violence is to be more subservient. This is the key aspect in the purported relevance of the syndrome in a self-defense context, as it offers an explanation of why the defendant, having been previously subjected to abuse, simply did not leave the home or take some other action against her abuser. Another aspect of the battered spouse syndrome, directly relevant in a self-defense context, is that the victim becomes able to sense the escalation in the frequency and intensity of the violence, and thus becomes more sensitive to the abuser's behavior. The battered woman learns to recognize small signs that precede periods of escalated violence. She learns to distinguish subtle changes of tone of voice, facial expressions, and levels of danger. She is in a position to know, perhaps with greater certainty, that someone attacked by a stranger, that the batterer's threat is real and will be acted upon. Walker's studies indicated that retaliation of the abused woman often occurred when the cycle lapsed back from phase 3 to phase 1. In describing the cases in which the woman had been tried for murder, Walker recounted that several factors were common to all of the cases, and these factors are: first, each woman stated that she was convinced the batterer was going to kill her. 2, violent assaults had taken place previously in all of these cases. In the final incident, however, something different was noted by these women, which convinced them that the batterer really was going to kill them this time. Hey, Mega Man. Right, go on. Ace for cause 20. Huh, that's weird. Ace for cause 20. I would think that that's him. That's so weird. How do you not exist? Guilty until proven innocent. Hey, Alien Beans, how's it going? Hey, Mega Man. I have a quiz to take And I should take it now, but I haven't finished my reading. Dr. Walker has opined that the battered woman syndrome constitutes a subgroup of post-traumatic stress disorder, which is recognized by the American Psychiatric Association as a mental disorder. Although, as critics have pointed out, DSM-IV does not itself mention that the battered woman syndrome. Other writers have compared the battered spouse syndrome to the Stockholm syndrome of traumatic bonding, which offers an explanation of why hostages sometimes come to identify with their captors. Dr. Lenore Walker's research has been criticized as lacking empirical support and potentially demeaning to women. Despite criticisms, most courts now admit BWS testimony in appropriate self-defense cases. The clear trend to permit syndrome evidence in cases of confrontational homicides, assuming that the defendant presents evidence of a history of abuse. Courts are divided on how to deal with non-confrontational cases. Some courts, as in Norman, do not permit a self-defense instruction in such cases because the syndrome evidence is not relevant to the task at hand. Other jurisdictions, however, permit self-defense to be claimed in non-confrontational cases if it is supported by syndrome evidence. For what specific purposes may or should expert testimony regarding BWS be introduced? Do you think such evidence is relevant to buttress the battered woman's claim that she's repeatedly beaten by her spouse, in determining whether she subjectively believes that she was confronting an imminent deadly threat, and or in determining whether she satisfied the objective, reasonable belief requirement of self-defense? The next excerpt speaks to these questions, but I'm not reading the next excerpt. I'm going on to 533, which is back here, so that's kind of strange. And what? Where the fuck do I start? Case law is always a pain. Double checking and rereading. Yup. I have 16 pages to read before I take my quiz. I think I just have to take my quiz, to be honest. November 14. I love reading, so it's okay. Yeah, I do. I guess you are a MPD Ghost mod. What does that mean? I probably could read adult novels to you guys if I wanted to. Maybe. I'd rather read scary novels though, you know. In the Norman Goetz cases, who faced an armed victim? Shit, I guess I really do have to read this. So, grand jury indicted defendant on attempted murder, assault, and other charges for having shot and wounded 4 youths. The lower courts concluded the prosecutor's charge. The precise circumstances of the evident incident giving rise to the charges against the defendant are disputed. Ultimately, it would be a trial. Defendant boarded his subway train, Manhattan. Goetz was carrying an unlicensed, possibly with Allen beside him. Started, give me $5. Neither Canty nor any other use displayed a weapon. Responded by setting up, pulling out his handgun, firing 4 shots in rapid succession. No one. In the Norman and Goetz cases, who subjectively faced an imminent threat of physical danger? Goetz. Subjectively, I guess. In the Norman and Goetz, who objectively face imminent? Actually, what the fuck? Okay, I have to read you guys this case. So, on Saturday afternoon, December 22nd, Troy Canty, Daryl Cabey, James Ramsor, and Barry Allen boarded an IRT Express subway train in the Bronx and headed south toward Lower Manhattan. So they're going on a subway train headed toward Manhattan. The four youths rode together in the rear portion of the seventh car of the train. Two of the four, Ramser and Cabby, had screwdrivers inside their coats, which they said were to be used to break into the coin boxes of video machines. Defendant Bernard Goetz boarded this subway train in Manhattan and sat down on a bench towards the rear section of the same car occupied by the four youths. Goetz was carrying an unlicensed .38 caliber pistol loaded with 5 rounds of ammunition in a waistband holster. Canty approached Goetz, possibly with Allen beside him, and stated, "Give me $5." Neither Canty nor any of the other youths displayed a weapon. Goetz responded by standing up, pulling out his handgun, and firing 4 shots in rapid succession. The first shot hit Canty in the chest. The second struck Allen in the back. The third went through Ramser's arm and into his left side. The fourth was fired at Cabby, who apparently was then standing in the corner of the car but missed, deflecting instead off the wall of the conductor's cab. After Goetz briefly surveyed the scene around him, he fired another shot at Cabby, who then was sitting on the end bench of the car. The bullet entered the rear of Cabby's side and severed his spinal cord. All but 2 of the other passengers fled the car when or immediately after the shots were fired. The conductor, who had been in the next car, heard the shots and instructed the motorman to radio for emergency assistance. The conductor then went into the car where the shooting occurred and saw Goetz sitting on a bench. Damn, that conductor is fucking brave. If I heard gunshots, I would not go check it out. Goetz told the conductor that the 4 youths had tried to rob him. While the conductor was aiding the youths, Goetz jumped onto the tracks and fled. Ramsor and Canty, initially listed in critical condition, have fully recovered. Cabby remains paralyzed and has suffered some degree of brain damage. Jesus. Who subjectively faced? It was Norman, I guess. And then who objectively faced imminent threat? You're hopping on the train. Hey, Renbei, how's it going? What? According to Gwen's statement, the first contact he had with 4 youths came when Canty, sitting or lying on the bench across from him, asked, "How are you?" To which he replied, "Fine." Shortly thereafter, Canty, followed by one of the other youths, walked over to the defendant and stood to his left, while the other 2 youths remained to his right, in the corner of the subway car. Canty then said, "Give me $5." Goetz stated that he knew from the smile on Canty's face that they wanted to play with me. Although he was certain that none of the youths had a gun, he had a fear, based on prior experiences, of being maimed. Goetz then established a pattern of fire, deciding specifically to fire from left to right. His stated intention at that point was to murder the 4 youths, to hurt them, to make them suffer as much as possible. When Canty again requested money, Goetz stood up, drew his weapon, and began firing, aiming for the center of the body of each of the 4. Goetz recalled that the first 2 he shot tried to run through the crowd, but they had nowhere to run. Goetz then turned to his right to go after the other 2. One of these 2 tried to run through the wall of the train, but he had nowhere to go. The other youth, Cabby, tried pretending that he wasn't with the others by standing still, holding onto one of the subway hand straps, and not looking at Goetz. Goetz nonetheless fired his 4th shot at him. He then ran back to the first 2 youths to make sure they had been taken care of. Seeing that they had both been shot, he spun back to check on the latter 2. No one. Well, I guess play a new scary game, do it. Scary games are expensive. I think it's like $60 for Resident Evil 2. I tried asking one of my friends to borrow it, but I thought, William, I thought he had it, but he doesn't have it. That's 3 times the salt you have. You're a rapper today. He added that if I was a little more under self-control, I would have put the barrel against his forehead and fired. He also admitted that if I had more bullets, I would have shot them again and again and again. Which statement most accurately expresses your personal opinion about these cases? Be prepared to discuss or justify this opinion. There's no right answer. Just be prepared to discuss your reasoning in class. Why is that called a placeholder? What? Whatever, this is fucking bullshit. Okay, done with creme. Ghost jalapeno. Plum, how are you doing? Right, that would be 30 minutes of my time when I'm a lawyer, but too bad I'm not a lawyer. Later today, the dragon will be on the other end, dying at work, the usual. I hope your day gets better. Cheers, coffee pick me up. That guy's a psycho. I am exhausted. Gotta get my shit together. Okay, let's finish the PowerPoint that I was working on. Oh, it's so beautiful. What a pretty, pretty day. One day to get your day better is to have boba tea. Always. That is always how we get the day better. Aww. Add a shadow. I was working on a PowerPoint with my classmate, and we decided to use Google Slides. Have you guys ever used that? So we decided to use Google Slides so we could both work on it like on our own time without having to like send each other the PowerPoint anytime we made corrections. And I had to completely learn how to use Google Slides because I did not know how to use Google Slides. It's pretty, like everything is somewhere else. format options. There we go. Sun background. And just pretty much click everything, I guess. Drop shadow. Drop shadow. I can't see you guys. Me struggling for once. Yeah, I'm struggling today. Transferring Google Slides to Microsoft can change certain placements, so make